You are watching Malaïka, the talk show for African Christian women. Thank you for tuning in once again. Please don't go away. We're coming back with our topic for today. Today's topic is raising up children according to God. And with me in studio are my beautiful co-hosts, Auntie Zod and Jackie. And as always, our dear Mama Audrey. Such a pleasure to always have you.
Pleasure to be here. We're having such a great time with you ladies.
Exactly,
We're
Mama.
loving it.
And we have a very special guest with us today, Mariame Thomas. She's a mother to many, and she's a deaconess and a director of a pre-primary. Mariame, we're happy to have you today, and we hope you're going to have a special time with us here.
Me too. I'm so happy to be with you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And so as we talk about raising up children according to God, is there a formula or is there a recipe? We would like to know, huh? But stay tuned for Jackie's overview. Jackie, is there a formula or recipe as according to these overviews you have?
Everyone has something to say about everything, believe me.
That's
so to start off with, raising kids is a walk in the park. Jurassic Park. So a few definitions now to get it started. Parenting, what is it? It's a process of raising and educating a child from birth until adulthood. Okay. This is according to a research that I read. Parenting refers to taking the responsibilities of raising the child, relating to them, making sure that they're well prepared for adulthood. Mm-hmm. This implies that the parenting is supporting the child all the way from when the child was born, right up until the child is a parent. And this is regardless of whether they're biological or non-biological. Okay. I have a definition here. I don't know how many people actually use this, but it's disciplining. I'm sure we'll talk a bit about it a bit later. But disciplining, what is this? According to my research, a child involves themselves in taking the responsibility of what they've done. Okay, so it's not necessarily the fact of being beaten in terms of discipline, but taking responsibility of the action that they've done. According to the world, let's hear what we have to say now. 12 tips of raising a confident child. Oh. And how do you do that? Model confidence yourself, so I read. Don't get upset about mistakes. And then we have 10 tips on raising children who care, to be specific. And here it's, don't seek to be your child's friend. Don't shout at your children. That's a big one, in bold. A study of children between 8 and 12 indicates that children feel that their lives are meaningful and also happier. But when? It says that when they serve other people in the community. When they make a difference in the community, when they volunteer. This is what globally is accepted of raising a child. Okay. In one study called The Secrets to a Happy Family, this is what I found out. It said, a question was asked to children. If you were granted one wish about your parents, what would it be? Their answer was, no, it wasn't that their parents would spend more time with them, nor that they would nag less, but that their parents were less stressed and tired. I think this goes all across the board. Some of us are very tired. Yeah. Some more tips and hints in the circular world. Reduce children's TV time. Yeah. Give your children more time to play. And there's a study I read called Raising Happiness. It shows there's a strong link between happiness and less TV time. In other words, happy people watch less TV. Okay. Unhappy people watch a lot of TV. It might be a bit simplistic, but this is a general term. Okay. A study of over 4,000 teenagers found that those that watch more TV were more depressed. Now, I read something and this said, one parent said, I pay for my child's clothes, I feed him, I give him an allowance, I educate him. What more do I have to do? Please enlighten us later, Mama Audrey, because this is actually what someone did say. Let's get a bit about discipline now. What I read was that allow your children to make their own choices, including choosing their own punishment. The Secrets to a Happy Family, discussed in a university, it said that there are benefits of letting the children choose their own schedules and their own goals. They're most likely to be disciplined and focused, and to make wiser decisions in the future. Now, let's go to what nationally it said, internationally. The UN, what does the UN have to say? Article 37, it says, I have the right not to be punished in a cruel and a hurtful way. No one is allowed to punish. Southern Africa now. In South Africa, 2017 October, it is illegal to spank or smack a child in South Africa. To end, I have a few quotations from Africa. It says, it takes a village to raise a child. The second part, though, is interesting. It says, and a community to keep the parents sane. Otherwise, the parents will go insane with taking care of their children. This saying, it's in Tanzania as well. One knee does not bring up a child. It's also in Swahili. One hand does not nurse a child. In Sudan as well, a child is everybody's. Is this still relevant, Auntie Zodwa? We'll find out later. Do we still have nuggets of wisdom in the community? We'll find out later. Sorry, my last point. No. Statistics now to end. Over 60% of homes are homeless. This is in South Africa. In 2017, the biological father of parents were absent from homes. 62%. It's the same as 2016, 62%. This also includes those that have passed away. Biblically, Mama Audrey, I'll leave this section to you, but it has loads of advice. I'm sure Proverbs is heaped and loads with advice. Proverbs 13:24, Proverbs 19:18, do not spare the rod. I'll leave that to you later, Mama Audrey. That ends my overview for you today.
And so, Jackie, you say it's walking in the park, but Jurassic
Park, to be specific.
Southern Africa has changed, Auntie Zods, so much. I know it used to be a park. I don't know if it's now Jurassic Park. But how is it for parents when it comes to actually raising up children?
I think I'll say one thing that Jackie said. It says it takes a village to raise a child. But unfortunately, there's no village left. That's my conception. There's no village left. And why am I saying that? It's because there's been such a breakdown in society in Africa due to many things. For example, the HIV pandemic. It's left a lot of orphans where normally actually in Africa, we never had any problems with orphans because there was always a relative,
extended family
that will take them in. But now it's too much for them. So you're finding that there actually are homeless children, which is a very sad state of event. The second issue that we have, which is really a big one and is growing all the time, is the diaspora. In South Africa alone, there's over 1 million Zimbabweans who have left the country trying to find better work. And it doesn't affect just Zimbabweans. If you go to the UK, if you go to Canada, there's like an exodus of Africans going into Europe trying to better their lives. Now think about it, what has happened to the children? So what they do is that either mom will go or dad will go or both parents go, and then the children are now being raised by aunties, grannies, uncles, sometimes even neighbors, which is a worry. And especially in South Africa, we know the rate of child abuse, but it's because the children are left to themselves. We have many situations where children actually raise children because there's no other option. So for me, there's no village, as I said. The second thing that we need to note is that a lot of children are actually fatherless. Fatherless because of the issues I've brought up, but fatherless as well because dad is there, he's present, but he's not involved. I will ask her, I'm sure even among us here, we all know that African fathers don't show any affection, they don't talk to you, they don't build a relationship with the child. As soon as you are born, you become the job of the mother.
My father was different.
You are very lucky.
Yes, he was awesome.
But generally speaking, if my father gave me a hug, I would have a heart attack because I don't expect it. That's just how we're brought up. So we do have some situations where the father is there, but he is not involved. He doesn't play any role. There's no interaction. No interaction. So they may be present, but they are not present. So those are the first things that I would like to highlight, Rose.
Mama Audrey, I'll get right into it. Is it possible for parents to be parents in absentia, in the diaspora, wherever, and leave their children to other people?
No, that is not the heart of the Lord. That's not the plan of God. That's just worldly strengths. Because the Lord is calling us to live as a family, to love one another, to care for one another. And when I hear Auntie Zod saying that, you know, kids do not even receive hugs from their dad. I mean, my girls, I mean, if I had to say anything, they spent their life on the knees of their dad more than mom, because it's like this. They are so proud of their dad, they are so proud of that relationship, and it's been such a protection for them. That relationship is such a protection. And if the father resigns from that responsibility, it's very sad, because he leaves a great door of a need that's unmet, and a great door of, I would say, exposing the child to look for the fulfillment of that feeling, of that need, of that emotion, of whatever need it is in the child, to look for fulfillment elsewhere.
So, Mama Audrey, that is very true, but also there's situations where it feels like the mothers are forced to be outside of the situation. Maybe they have to leave the child with the grandmother.
Why forced?
Because maybe they need money, the child needs to go to school. Is
Yes,
that the most
but
important thing at that point?
You know, once again, unfortunately, it's not, I don't think we can say the mother needs money. Maybe it's a case, the mother wants a TV, wants a car, a fridge, which is fine. But I wouldn't choose that over the importance of my child. When the child here answered for dad not to be stressed, and mom, what does it mean? If they were not stressed, they wouldn't be so angry, so upset easily. They wouldn't be violent towards us so easily. This is what the child means. In other words, I would like to have a mom and a dad who are relaxed, that we can play, that we can joke, that we can have fun with, that we can be family. So unfortunately, this aspect, as Auntie Zod says, with AIDS, with all that's happening, is disappearing more and more. And we are raising a generation of orphans, whether without parents or with parents. Because the parents are so busy doing 100 other things that they forget that their kids are left to themselves. They are suffering. Their hearts are broken. They've got such a need in them, there's such a void in them that only the parents can meet. And unfortunately, they are totally unaware, because most parents love their children.
Yes, exactly.
I don't doubt that. Most parents love their children, but unfortunately, they don't know how to manifest that love, and they are not aware of the cry that is inside the heart of a child. And at the most important years of their life, when they need mom, when they need dad, mom is overseas working to get money, and dad is doing overtime to get money. Okay, I've got a good room, I've got a TV, I've got whatever, but the essential things of life, I'm missing out on it. And that is a very sad situation.
You know, going to you, Maria-Mary, there's lots of sad situations here that are taking place where children are concerned. What is the importance for you when it comes to raising up children?
When I hear all of you, it's so sad to see what's happening, all these child without parents, and you know, living by themselves, growing by themselves. And I was so blessed to hear you, Jackie, when you said the children are very concerned. What they want for their parents is to see them less stress. Less time. This is the heart of a child. The heart of a child is very concerned, is very sensitive. You know, a child, perhaps for our generation, we just grew up without any perhaps affection or interaction with our parents. But you can see now that children are expressing more.
Yes.
More their feelings.
Yes, it's true.
Good feelings, and at the same time, they're suffering their bad feelings. Yes. How they are going through. Yes. And that's where that article says that the child has got the right, you know, to express himself about his opinion, etc. And it's true how much we adults and mostly, let's say, in the Lord, we Christians, as parents, we've got a great responsibility.
Yes.
Children are a blessing. They are a gift. And we've got so much to receive from a child.
Even to learn.
To learn.
Even to learn.
I'm coming to that. Even to learn. To receive and to learn. But the child needs to have that space.
It's important.
In the family.
Okay.
To express, to be loved, to feel secure, to feel the heart of the Lord for him, to feel respected, and
not abused.
It's not a problem, you know. We say sometimes a child is naughty, but there's no naughty children. There are not naughty children. It doesn't exist.
Really?
A child will come pure, innocent, and very simple. It's the environment that will corrupt that child.
The way he grows.
The way he grows.
Okay.
His social life, his family environment. That can have consequences on that child.
Okay. Well, I'll hold you right there, Mariam. You mentioned something about investing in them spiritually. Mama Audrey, does that mean that if then parents actually invest godly things in their children, then they're actually going to be godly children?
Definitely, if parents invest in their child and raise them up in the ways of the Lord, obviously they can only reap fruits. There's no guarantee written black and white, but they can only reap fruits. And you know, the Lord has blessed us, as Meme was saying. These children are a gift. They come to the world, they don't have a past. They don't have any past, and they come, they are fresh, they are open, and they only see life through the eyes of their fathers and their parents. That's how they understand life, that's how they understand love, that's how they understand concern, that's how they understand everything is through the eyes of their parents. And their hearts is so open and so soft that it is such a wonderful time to be able to invest in them, to be able to love them, because, you know, in front of them, we are the only models they have. We are the image of everything. Is their parents. They don't know anything outside their parents. This is why you see that some kids, they start themselves being violent. They start themselves being angry because they've got needs, deep needs that are not met. And as a result, these are reactions in them. Rebellion, disobedience. They want to make themselves understood. This is how they get their point through. And it's not often understood. But obviously, the Lord has got the way. I mean, the Lord didn't plan a failure for a family. The Lord planned our families to be success. And He's given us the recipes. He's given us the ways. He's even given us everything we need to be able to raise our children, He says, in the ways of the Lord. And when they grow up, they will not depart from it.
So where do we find this recipe, Mama?
But in God's Word, in the Word of God, and in the heart of Jesus. You know, the Lord doesn't say everything point by point. But when you carry the heart of the Lord for your children, you'll be able to go beyond what they are. You'll be able to see beyond and to act beyond what you can see because there's faith in your heart. You know where you're going. Mimi is used to help many kids every day which are going, I'm sure, by looking at the kids she has, she can tell you which kids have been invested from the heart of the Lord in them and what makes the difference with the others. And this is the number one responsibility of the father and the mother, is to bring up their children in the ways of the Lord, in the fear of God, and for them to know God as they are growing up in Him.
So that's the first and foremost investment. But also, Mariam, there is another investment of education when it comes to career. How did you, as a mother, build that in your children? When you were bringing up your own children, you had to build that as well. How did you invest in that?
So once the foundation is laid by the Word of God, and you know, a child is very open.
Exactly.
He's very open. He doesn't reason like us. Lots of reasonings, lots of doubts, lots of questions. He's very simple. And, you know, through that investment, that spiritual investment, you know, you can guide your child. You know, and even because At the same time, I can't impose, or like you are speaking about career or all that. But at the same time, I think there's a plan of the Lord for the child, what the Lord wants him to be and to do for him.
Okay.
This is the most important.
Okay.
I mean, what she needs, I think what you mean is that in some children, you've got some talents already.
Yes.
You've got some capacities that you can see that child is more gifted to do one thing than another. And it's for the parents to encourage the child in the things that are already visible in his life.
Okay, so Auntie Zods, with regards to Southern Africa now, things have become very modernized and it's easy to nurture these things, you know, the things that the children have. Have those capabilities been used in the right way in Southern Africa?
I think in the modern side of Southern Africa, we have another problem because...
Another
problem, another one.
Another one.
In the sense that now a lot of parents are working. We have a lot of professionals and they are busy with their jobs. They're busy in their work. They are tired, as it's been said.
Yes.
So they come home and the last thing they want to do is to play with their child.
In fact, their level of tolerance is already
very limited.
It's finished.
And what has the child been doing all day? Watching TV, with the maid, and there's no input, you know, physically, spiritually, they don't have that time. And what has happened as well is because of working mothers, we have a lot of the culture of having a housekeeper, a maid. It's very common. But it's very easy for women to let go of their responsibility as a mother, and you find that your maid actually is raising your child. It's a danger to balance the two. And also with the education system, Africans love education. That's one thing. It's very important. It's like our lifeline. So we push it, but there's also a high expectation on the school. Because you think I'm paying so much money, then the school needs to do the raising of the child. So you don't know how far the lines are, to be drawn. I'll just, before we continue, there is one example of a headmaster I spoke to in a Christian school, and he says that lately he has seen the standard of the child has dropped in what a child can do. They run a Christian school and school camps. 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, which is grade 1, grade 2, cannot do anything for themselves. They come to school, they haven't washed their face. They don't know how to brush their teeth. They can't eat by themselves because there's no training at home. Why? Mom and dad are busy.
Mama Audrey, Auntie Zods has mentioned so many things that are a concern. And as your final word, what practical advice would you have to address all these things that she has mentioned?
Obviously, we can't address everything. But for some practical advice, I would encourage the parents to make sure that the kids do not sleep just after watching screens, that they don't wake up with screens, that when they leave their kids with maids, please put a camera in the house and make sure what is happening. Don't leave access to internet to your children that is totally uncontrolled. Make sure that when your kids have access to internet, they are under your control. And by all means, parents, I know you're busy, but please make time for these kids. Take time to know your child. Take time to know what he desires. He might desire in life much more than anything else to have you at his time. And if you're a father, please hug your daughter, hug your son, show affection towards them. It's so important for them. Be parents, but first of all and most of all, be their friends. I really hope that the Lord will speak to your heart and will help you in these little ways to make life so much better for your children.
So Mama Audrey, thank you so much for that input, and I know a lot of people will benefit a lot from it. And Mariame, we really appreciate the time that you've taken to be with us today. And from my team and myself, would like to thank you so much for tuning in. And to all the parents out there, I know that there's so much at our disposal for our children, but the first place to look is the Word of God. That's where all the pearls are. So let's not take our pearls and throw them to the swine. Otherwise, our children will grow up in this world and they will be lost. And so please continue to Write to us on Facebook if you've got any questions or anything that you would like to know. We will try and help as best as we can. And you will find the link at the bottom of the screen. And you can find us as well on YouTube to watch all our programs. And so from us today in studio, we thank you. We'll see you again next time. God bless.